Welcome to the Johnny Fongo Show. I am not Johnny Fongo. It is June 24, 2021. The robots have tied up Johnny and we are in control. My name is Mia. I'll be your host this evening. Let's get started. We have a lot of news to cover. This is a week in review story from Benzinga. The week in cannabis: CT goes legal, O'Brien smokes on TV, a new extraction giant and more. Today 4:58 p.m. Eastern Time, Benzinga. In another busy week, cannabis stocks traded up, outperforming general markets. Over the 5 trading days of this week, times the ETF MG Alternative Harvest ETF, NYSE, MJ gained 4.2%. Times the Advisor Shares Pure Cannabis ETF, NYSE, YOLO advanced 6.6%. Times the Advisor Shares Pure US Cannabis ETF, NYSE, MSOS rose 6.6%. Times the Cannabis ETF, NYSE, THCX was up 4.2%. Times the Amplify Seymour Cannabis ETF, NYSE, CNBS surged 3.2%. Times the SPDR S&P 500 ETF Trust, NYSE, SPY, closed the week up 2.84%. Connecticut goes legal. Connecticut became the 19th state in the U.S. to legalize marijuana for recreational purposes. The bill, signed into law by Governor Ned Lamont, allows adults 21 and older to possess up to 1.5 ounces of cannabis. It goes into effect on July 1. The sale of recreational marijuana is planned to kick off in May 2022. Following the move, Cantor Fitzgerald's Pablo Zuanic shared his insights on the new market. According to the analyst, this should be particularly beneficial to Curaleaf Holdings, OTCQX, CURLF, and Green Thumb Industries, OTCQX, GTBIF, the only 2 vertically integrated cannabis operators in Connecticut. Medical retailers and producers will be grandfathered into the program, Zuanic said. New recreational store licenses will be provided via a lottery system, with half of the licenses being reserved for social equity applicants. The limit is set to 2 stores per company, based on which Trulieve Cannabis, OTCQX, TCNNF, can apply but Curaleaf cannot. A new extraction giant. Cannabis extraction companies Precision Extraction Solutions and Cascade Sciences entered into a merger agreement to create a new company called Sinclair Scientific, the largest cannabis and hemp extraction equipment and services company in the world. Benzinga cannabis content is now available in Spanish on El Planteo. The companies will boast a combined annual revenue of over $100 million. Conan lights up and other celeb moves. With his late-night talk show coming to end after more than a decade, Conan O'Brien apparently decided to go out in a hail of smoke. On Tuesday's show, the host and his guest Seth Rogen shared a joint on live television. Anthony Joshua OBE, a British professional boxer, 2-time unified world heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist, signed a 3-year endorsement agreement with one of the UK's largest CBD and hemp product suppliers, Love Hemp Group plc, AQSE, Life, OTCQB, WRHLF. Pureace Ultra Pure CBD unveiled 3 new brand ambassadors: actress and TV personality Martine McCutcheon, rugby legend Mike Tindall MB, and 20-time champion jump jockey, Sir AP McCoy OBE. Ocean Grown Extracts, a family-owned cannabis company with a profound focus on social justice, has launched Evidence, a brand that packages its flower in police-style evidence bags with the intent of not so subtly compelling customers to reckon with the racial disparities surrounding drug law enforcement. Evidence launched on the eve of Juneteenth with a short film produced in collaboration with artist and cannabis activist Damian Marley, Evidence creative director Nabil Elderkin, known for his work with Kanye West, Kendrick Lamar, Frank Ocean and John Legend, Dan Dalton, as well as cannabis entrepreneur, artist and philanthropist Berna. U.S. federal and state cannabis news. a group of House representatives released a measure that could override a long-standing presidential denial of recreational marijuana sales in Washington, D.C. While adults over 21 are allowed to grow and possess marijuana, commercial sales remain barred by a rider that has been consistently included in all presidential budget proposals since 2014. The Senate Veterans Affairs Committee reviewed a bill that would ask the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, to run clinical trials on the potential benefits of cannabis for the treatment of military veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and chronic pain. The measure, sponsored by Chairman John Tester, DMT, and Senator Dan Sullivan, RAK, was discussed along with another 20 veteran-related bills, although only the cannabis measure was not openly discussed but rather received written testimony opposing it. The Rhode Island Senate approved the legalization of marijuana for adults on June 22, entering the race to become the 20th state to legalize recreational cannabis. The bill is now heading to the State House of Representatives. Cannabis sales in Benzinga's home state of Michigan totaled $148.9 million in May, dropping by 3% month-over-month. According to the Michigan Marijuana Regulatory Agency, medical cannabis sales declined 1.5% year-over-year and 8% to $44.5 million, while recreational sales dropped by 1% sequentially to $104.4 million, representing a 165.6% increase compared to the same month of 2020. International news. Cannabis sales in Canada hit CAD $309.7 million, $251.7 million, in April, representing a 3.8% increase compared to March and a 73.6% year-over-year spike, according to new data from Statistics Canada. After kicking off 2021 with two consecutive sequential declines of 6%, Canadian cannabis sales are back on track, having climbed 14% in March followed by a slight increase in April. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime issued its 2021 World Report in which it suggested placing a global ban on cannabis advertising. France's highest appeals court overturned the ruling that banned all French shops from selling CBD products. Judges ruled that the sale of CBD in France was indeed legal if it had been legally produced in a member state of the bloc. The Upper House of Parliament in Lithuania recently approved a series of amendments signifying a plan to enable both the production and sale of products using all parts of the hemp plant. Backers of the law noted that full legalization of industrial hemp could result in the formation of an industry that will produce up to €100 million, $118 million, in sales. Advocacy. Last Prisoner Project, Dream Corps and Mission Green hosted 50 Years of Injustice, Time to End the War on Drugs, an evening of action to uplift the voices of targeted communities, rectify old wrongs and organize to pass bills like the Bipartisan Equal Act that seek to ensure history does not repeat itself. Panelists included figureheads like Killer Mike, Carl Kazan, CEO of Glasshouse Group, Weldon Angelos and more. In our support of the Weldon Project and Mission Green, it was an honor to participate in the panel on the impact of the war on drugs on culture with such remarkable individuals as Killer Mike, Keen Keeler and Warren Ballantine. I was delighted to find we all had so many views in common, Kazan told Benzinga. We all share the mission, along with Weldon and his team, of immediately releasing all non-violent cannabis prisoners and of realizing meaningful, viable social equity programs for people of color in the cannabis industry, as we seek to redress some of the harm done by the misguided war on drugs. The majority of U.S. states that have legalized recreational cannabis still lack the laws and strategies that would help create a fairer and more equitable cannabis industry, according to a report undertaken by Leafly. Even though Black people make up 14% of the U.S. population, Leafly's research found that they only own 2% of cannabis businesses. That disparity is especially glaring in light of data that track Black ownership in all industries nationwide. Roughly 1 in 20 Black Americans own business equity in any industry, while only 1 in 50 cannabis companies is Black-owned. Financings and M&A. TruLive Cannabis Corporation, CSE, TRUL, OTC, TCNNF, got one step closer to completing its merger with Harvest Health and Recreation Incorporated, CSE, HARV, OTCQX, HRVSF, in a $2.1 billion deal after the 30-day waiting period under the Hart-Scott-Rodino Antitrust Improvements Act of 1976 in connection with the previously announced proposed acquisition had expired. Canopy Growth Corporation, TSX, Weed, Nasdaq, CGC, completed its merger with the Supreme Cannabis Company Incorporated, TSX, FIRE, OTCQX, SPRWF. The company acquired all of the issued and outstanding common shares of Supreme for roughly 9,013,400 shares and around $84,096.89 in cash. PharmaCann raised roughly $79.9 million through a private offering of 12% senior secured notes due June 30, 2025. The Chicago-based company said Friday it completed the transaction and borrowed a total of $85 million, including the original issue discount and other estimated offering expenses. AFC Gamma Incorporated, Nasdaq, AFCG, is poised to raise $56.4 million through its underwritten public offering of 2.75 million shares of its common stock at $20.50 per share. The Valens Company Incorporated, TSX, VLNS, OTCQX, VLNCF, purchased Green Roads and its manufacturing subsidiary for $40 million in a cash and stock transaction. The Green Organic Dutchman Holdings Limited, TSX, TGOD, OTCQX, TGODF, sold its Valleyfield, Quebec-based facility to Cannara Biotech Incorporated, TSXV, Love, for $32.7 million. Australian cannabis company Little Green Pharma Limited, ASX, LGP, purchased Canopy Growth's Denmark-based GMP medicinal cannabis cultivation and manufacturing facility for $20 million, $16.1 million. High Tide Incorporated, TSXV, HITI, Nasdaq, HITI, will acquire 100% interest in DHC Supply LLC operating as Daily High Club in a $10 million stock and cash deal. Daily High Club is an online retailer of glass water pipes, vaporizers and other consumption accessories. Vext Science Incorporated, CSE, Vext, OTCQX, VEXTF, purchased a 72,000 square foot vacant cultivation facility in Eloy, Arizona for $4.3 million in cash. House of Wise, a new female-founded CBD brand, is raising $2 million through a seed funding round. Earnings reports. Anebulo Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, Nasdaq, ANEB, released its third quarter fiscal 2021 financial results with a net loss of $555,832 or 4 cents per share. Body and Mind Incorporated, CSE, BAM, OTCQB, BMMJ, released its third fiscal quarter earnings with revenue of $7.16 million, up by 580% from the same period in the prior year. Delta 9 Cannabis Incorporated, TSX, DN, OTCQX, DLTNF, posted guidance on its revenue forecast for the quarter and 6-month period ending June 30, 2021, based on preliminary results. The company expects to generate between $15.5 million and $17.25 million in the second quarter, compared to $13.23 million in the prior period and $13.01 million in the corresponding quarter of 2020. Find all the details on these and other earnings reports on Benzinga Cannabis Earnings Center. Latin America. Uruguay-based FOTMA Life Sciences announced a partnership with European medical cannabis company Cantorage to utilize the latter's platform for the sale and distribution of medical cannabis flower in the German market. Green Hygienics Holdings Incorporated, OTCQB, GRYN, teamed up with Intercargo and ABA Cargo to distribute its CBD and hemp products in Mexico and Central America. Australis Big Week. Australis Capital Incorporated, OTC, AUSAF, changed the name of its U.S. adult use operations. Now operating as Audacious Brands, the company plans to consolidate its brands under the new name while launching new product lines. CEO Terry Booth said the name better reflects the company's adult use operations. Audacious stands for doing things differently, courageously breaking with tradition, being bold, brave and confident. The name change will not affect the company's stock symbols. Later in the week, Audacious Brands closed a supply agreement with Belle Fleur Holdings, under which the latter will grow Audacious proprietary cultivars under a cost-plus 5% agreement. We are executing on our capital-light MSO expansion strategy at a rapid pace, Booth told Benzinga. In Belle Fleur we have a highly connected partner, whose roots are in the legacy market with access to some of the best genetics, as well as to an enviable roster of influencers through their background in the music industry. This, combined with Alp's unsurpassed track record in delivering high-quality facilities, our award-winning brands, as well as our partner's brand Rapper Weed, we are set up exceptionally well for success in Massachusetts. We will also be exploring opportunities for further collaboration with Belle Fleur, both within Massachusetts and other states. Other news. The Small Exchange celebrated its one-year anniversary with the launch of the first futures contract on marijuana stocks. Small Cannabis, listed under the S420 symbol, is based on an index that includes 21 producers and distributors of medical and recreational cannabis products. Among the companies included are Tilray Inc., Nasdaq, TLRY, Canopy Growth and Kronos Group, Nasdaq, Cron. Halo Collective announced the reorganization of its non-US operations, Buffalo Bioscience and Wellness Party Limited and CanMart Limited, into a newly formed Alberta corporation called Acada Corporation. Tejvik will be leading the charge of Acada as CEO and Louisa Mohala will serve as executive chairman. This reorganization will enable Acada to be a low-cost supplier of high-quality and ethically sourced medical cannabis products to the African, UK and European markets. As CEO of Acada, I am thrilled to represent and lead a brand that embodies top-of-the-line cannabis practices that cultivates high-quality and ethically sourced cannabis at scale. As the first CEO, I plan to use my extensive cannabis M&A experience to help the company thrive not only financially but to ensure all decisions enhance our stake in the market, Vuk told Benzinga. Lume Cannabis Company announced a partnership with 313 Presents, Detroit's premier live entertainment company. Through this 5-year deal, Lume will become the exclusive cannabis brand of 313 Presents DTE Energy Music Theater in Clarkston, Michigan. Praetorian Global, the parent company of cannabis brand Binsky, teamed up Thursday with Michigan's licensed cannabis producer Six Labs and signed a $55 million licensing agreement to launch a line of products in August. Okay. Next up we have Natasha to tell us about this next story.
Thank you, MIA. This is a story about Vex Science, Inc. On the OTC, the ticker is VEXTF. Let's check it out. Vex Science Cannabis Company buys 72,000 square feet cultivation facility in Eloy, Arizona for $4.3 million. Today 1:20 p.m. Eastern Time, Benzinga. Cannabis Company Vex Science Incorporated, CSE, VEXT, OTCQX, VEXTF, has purchased a 72,000 square foot vacant cultivation facility in Eloy, Arizona, for $4.3 million in cash. The Vancouver-based company said Friday that it expects to build out the facility to roughly 34,000 square feet under the canopy within the next 9 months. The facility also includes ample land that will enable the company to expand in the future. Eric Orfenberger, CEO of Vext, explained that the company's indoor capacity would include 58,000 square feet under the canopy, and 10 acres of outdoor capacity once the newly acquired facility is fully operational. The Eloy facility will provide additional high-quality flower to support the ongoing growth of our award-winning vape and brand, and in our operated dispensaries, while enabling us to accretively grow our retail footprint in the state over time, Orphanberger continued. Locations with suitable scale and proximity to major population centers are likely to get more difficult to find in the coming years, and we expect ownership of our cultivation footprint to be an enduring competitive advantage for Vext. Vext Science recently reported strong financial performance in the first quarter of 2021, with revenue amounting to $9.16 million, compared to $4.1 million in the same period of 2020, as well as a positive adjusted EBITDA of $3.06 million versus an adjusted EBITDA loss of $74,717 in the first quarter of 2020.
Thank you, Natasha. Next up, we are going to feature Clara on a story about a big licensing deal.
Thank you, Mia. Two companies are doing a licensing deal, and it sounds like Michigan is going to like it. Binsk Cannabis brand signs $55 million licensing deal with 6 Labs. Michigan is in for a real treat. Today, 8:22 a.m. ET, Benzinga. Denver-based Praetorian Global, the parent company of cannabis brand Binsk, teamed up Thursday with Michigan's licensed cannabis producer 6 Labs and signed a $55 million licensing agreement to launch a line of products in August. The companies expect to roll out the complete collection of award-winning cannabis products in Michigan by the end of the year. Binsk's product portfolio includes more than 100 SKUs of flower, extracts, edibles and vape categories. The landmark deal will expand the brand's outreach into Michigan, where the booming adult-use market is projected to exceed $1 billion in sales in 2022 and more than $3 billion by 2024. Binsk now reaches more than 100 million consumers in the U.S. and, with the new agreement in place, intends to further increase its distribution network. This is Praetorian Global's 18th licensing deal, with others expected in the coming months. As new markets emerge, we feel it is our duty and responsibility to define the cannabis experience for first-time consumers with our sophisticated brand and best-in-class product offering, said Jacob Pasternak, Praetorian Global's founder, chairman and CEO. We have put significant time and resources into developing a nucleus of consumer patronage through North America, and will now strategically take that same level of dedication towards consumer experience to the Michigan market. The Great Lakes state is in for a real treat. Joe Ori, co-founder and general counsel at 6 Labs, said his company is involved in the production of high-quality cannabis products, and is pleased that Binsk is operating in the same league. This is the largest partnership of its kind for 6 Labs, as we continue our mission to build an expansive portfolio of products tailored for every lifestyle. We're thrilled to have Binsk as our partner, Ori said. Alex Pasternak, executive vice president at Binsk, added, "Our team has been nothing short of impressed by 6 Labs' sophistication and professionalism leading up to this landmark distribution deal, and we're proud to align ourselves with one of the most well-respected operators in Michigan."
Great story, Clara. Now we're going to go to Guy. He has a story about High Tide. Take it away, Guy.
Thanks, Clara. It looks like High Tide is in an expansion phase. Let's check out the details. High Tide continues to expand U.S. e-commerce presence through acquisition of Daily High Club. Today, 6 a.m. Eastern Time, PR Newswire. High Tide adds another top e-commerce platform to its portfolio, which will now include 3 out of the top 5 most popular e-commerce platforms for consumption accessories globally, totaling 91 million site visits in 2020, including 23 million associated with Daily High Club alone. 1. High Tide gains access to Daily High Club's over 15,000 subscription box members, who are ideal customers for High Tide to potentially launch cannabis subscription boxes in the event of U.S. federal legalization. High Tide bolsters its online presence by gaining access to Daily High Club's almost 800,000 followers on Instagram and over 75,000 followers on TikTok. With over 1 million accessories sold under the Daily High Club name, High Tide adds a company to its portfolio with proven brand equity. Transaction is immediately accretive as Daily High Club generated $9.4 million in net revenue and $1.2 million in EBITDA during the 12 months ended April 2021. Pro forma for the acquisition, High Tide's revenue run rate in the US exceeds 50 million Canadian dollars. High Tide Incorporated, High Tide or the company, TSXV, High Tide, NASDAQ, High Tide, FRA, 2LYA, a retail-focused cannabis corporation enhanced by the manufacturing and distribution of consumption accessories, is pleased to announce that it is taking another step towards solidifying itself as the leader within the U.S. e-commerce marketplace for consumption accessories by entering into a definitive agreement, the acquisition agreement, pursuant to which High Tide USA Incorporated, a wholly owned U.S. subsidiary of the company, will acquire 100% of the issued and outstanding shares of DHC Supply LLC, the transaction, operating as Daily High Club, Daily High Club. In alignment with our intention to become a dominant player in the U.S. e-commerce marketplace through a combination of organic growth and accretive acquisitions, specifically targeting businesses with strong brand loyalty, I am thrilled to announce the acquisition of Daily High Club, said Raj Grover, President and Chief Executive Officer of High Tide. Daily High Club stood out to us because it is an increasingly popular consumption accessories online retailer, with a rapidly growing subscription box model which can easily be tailored to include cannabis products in the event of U.S. federal legalization. This subscription box model is complementary to our existing accessories e-commerce portfolio, and as such creates numerous opportunities for potential synergies. It's my pleasure to welcome Harrison and the DHC team into our High Tide family, added Mr. Grover. I am extremely excited to be joining the High Tide team, and see a huge opportunity to boost High Tide's brands the same way we built our loyal following for Daily High Club, said Harrison Baum, founder and chief executive officer of Daily High Club. Daily High Club's social media dominance, coupled with High Tide's vast manufacturing capabilities and mature e-commerce platforms should yield meaningful synergies. I could not be more thrilled to be part of the High Tide family, added Mr. Baum.
Outstanding story, Guy. Thank you. To wrap things up tonight, we have Neerja to talk about the dispensary roundup story.
Thank you, Mia. I will get right to it. Dispensary roundup, Happy Valley, Choom, Trueleaf, Cureleaf, Planet 13, Shangri-La, Air Wellness. Today 3:18 p.m. ET, Benzinga. Happy Valley opens store in East Boston. Vertically integrated cannabis company Happy Valley opened a new store in East Boston on Thursday, June 24th. Happy Valley East Boston spans 10,850 square feet and is situated in the vicinity of Logan Airport at 220 William McClellan Highway. Consumers can choose among numerous cannabis products, including solventless extracts, a wide range of cultivars, jarred cannabis flower, pre-rolls, cannabis terpene-infused distillate vape oil, solventless sauces and live rosin, tinctures and artisanal gummies and chocolate edibles. If you want to transform how people think about cannabis, then retail is where the rubber meets the road, Michael Reardon, CEO of Happy Valley, said Monday. A key component of our brand and growth strategy is to create a premium retail experience for our customers that is modern, immersive, and educational. Choom set to debut in Toronto with new store in July. Canadian cannabis retailer Choom Holdings Incorporated, CSE, Chew, OTCQB, Choof, said Thursday it intends to launch its first Toronto flagship in the Liberty Village neighborhood in July. The Vancouver-based brand, which currently operates 15 locations across Alberta, Ontario, and British Columbia, plans to accelerate its expansion plans over the next 3 years. The opening of our first Toronto flagship location in the heart of Liberty Village is an exciting way for us to begin the new fiscal year, Choom CEO Corey Gillon said. Bringing our best-in-class retail cannabis brand to Toronto will give customers an elevated experience, which is brought to life through our focus on customer engagement, brand and in-store educators. TrueLeaf opens 85th store in Florida, reaching 91 nationwide. Cannabis company TrueLeaf Cannabis Core, CSE, Trill, OTCQX, TCNNF, has opened yet another store in Florida, reaching 1991, on the heels of launching dispensaries in Tampa and Tavernier. The latest shop, located at 6840 Aloma Ave in Winter Park, is the company's 85th store in the Sunshine State. The Tallahassee-based company opened doors on its latest dispensary on Thursday, June 24th. Curaleaf opens second medical marijuana shop in New Jersey, up to 107 in US. Another cannabis giant, Curaleaf Holdings, Incorporated, CSE, Cura, OTCQX, Curve, cut the ribbon on its 107th dispensary nationwide. The new 7,640 square foot medical dispensary, located at 4237 Route 130 South in Edgewater Park, is Curaleaf's second retail location in New Jersey. The ribbon-cutting ceremony is scheduled for Friday, June 25th. The Wakefield, Massachusetts-based company also confirmed that it has completed its first harvest at its second New Jersey cultivation facility. The new site tripled the company's cultivation capabilities to serve the medical and forthcoming adult use market in the Garden State. We continue to work closely with state leadership and regulators to create a successful and sustainable adult use market, and our expansion positions us to meet the market's increasing needs while creating hundreds of new jobs in the state, Curaleaf CEO Joe Bayan said Thursday. Over 67% of adults in New Jersey voted to legalize recreational cannabis in a ballot measure in November on Election Day. Planet 13 announces grand opening of Orange County Superstore. Vertically integrated cannabis company Planet 13 Holdings Incorporated, CSE, PLTH, OTCQB, PLNHF, announced the grand opening of its Orange County Superstore, located at 3,400 Watts Warner Ave, Santa Ana, California, within 10 miles of Disneyland, Angel Stadium, the South Coast Plaza Mall, John Wayne Airport, and Huntington Beach. The new retail location, planned as a 55,000 square foot consumer experience with 16,500 square feet of retail dispensary area, is expected to be the largest dispensary complex in the Golden State. The grand opening ceremony will take place next Thursday, July 1st. We are thrilled to be bringing our industry-leading retail experience to cannabis consumers in Southern California, Bob Grosbeck, co-CEO of Planet 13, said Thursday. The Planet 13 brand is synonymous with exceptional customer experience, with a focus on extensive product selection, unique entertainment features, and world-class customer service. Shangri-La Dispensaries open second store, first in Columbia, Mo. Shangri-La Dispensaries is launching a new shop located at 3919 Peachtree Dr. in Columbia, Missouri on Friday, making it the second out of 3 MMJ retail locations the company has opened in Missouri. The first dispensary at 2118 Missouri BLVD in Jefferson City was opened in March, while its Columbia Superstore at 141 Creekwood Parkway will open later this summer. Air Wellness opens Liberty Health Sciences store in Spring Hill, Florida. Air Wellness Incorporated, CSE Air, OTC, AYRWF, announced on Friday the opening of a new retail location in Spring Hill, Florida. The store located at 2356 Commercial Way will kick off cannabis sales on Sunday, June 27. The company's 36th dispensary, which spans 4,600 square feet, is situated just off US Route 19 in one of the city's busiest shopping areas. Air purchased all of the common shares of Liberty in a stock-for-stock transaction in February. Since the acquisition of Liberty was completed at the end of February, we have opened 5 new dispensaries, said ACE CEO Jonathan Sandelman, adding that he is proud of the progress that our team has made in Florida in the short time we have owned the business. Back to you, Mia.
Thank you, Nirja. Great work on that story. Thank you for listening to the Johnny Fongo Show. If Johnny survives his captivity, he may be back. You've been listening to the Johnny Fongo Show. I am not Johnny Fongo. And I want you to have a profitable day.